Welcome to Women's Radio 2, where we're now also inviting men to come and co-create with us. And one of the people I have met and known for such a long time now is a person that I met when she was speaking in Reno, Nevada. And it's a person that you will know when I tell you that she was the mom in E.T. My very special guest today is Dee Wallace. Dee is an international actress. She, besides doing the work in E.T., she does many. She is still doing a lot of films. She is still doing a lot of speaking. When we met and I saw her on stage, I thought, wow, that's quite a shift, because I thought that her message was really, really right on and very spiritual. And I think that she'd probably say that that's probably true now too. And part of her background was as a school teacher. So she took a lot of the lessons that she taught the children, and then she applies that now to adults and anyone that she is speaking to. And we're going to hear a lot about how she feels about all of that and who she really enjoys talking to. It's my pleasure to welcome Dee Wallace to Women's Radio 2. Welcome, Dee.
Great to be here with you.
Well, I was really intrigued by the fact I did not know that you had been a school teacher. And I think it's really perfect, isn't it, for the many, and you're very multi-talented. So I don't want to pigeonhole you too much. What's something you'd really like to talk about today?
Oh, I like to talk about anything your viewers are interested in. My healing work, my acting work. You know, I do feel like I teach in everything I do, even the horror movies.
I bet a lot of people don't even know that. I mean, you've done a number of those, right?
I have done a number of those, and it's very interesting from an educational point of view. If you Google the positive effects of horror films, you will find they're good for your brain, they're good for your nervous system, they're good for teaching you how to cope, which is why every Disney movie has some bad, evil character in it, so that children in a safe environment can learn how to cope with their fears. And it's the same thing when we, as adults, go see horror films or end of the world films. We are using our coping mechanisms in safe ways to learn that we, can create and do create the world we're living in.
Right, and that we can also overcome some of the evils in the world.
Well, yeah. I'm a clairaudient channel, and what my channel says is if you find yourself in reaction, you're out of creation. Which I know to be true, because when you're in reaction, somebody else has control over your choice. When you step back and go, okay, I'm going to be objective here. What do I want? What is this about? What am I hoping to create? Then you come back into control of your own life. That's why in my teachings and when I go out and speak, I bring to people's attention that your belief system is locked in to your brain by 8 years old. That's brain science. Whatever happens between conception and 8 is pretty much how we have decided the world works. Now, all those beliefs are somebody else's beliefs that have been handed down to us and taught to us and ingrained in us. And a lot of them are old and they're not true and they don't work anymore.
So then what do?
You decide what you want to believe. Because as the good book says, as you believe, it is delivered to you.
That's right.
And science puts it this way, whatever you focus on, you create more of.
Right.
So my parents, for example, believed that money was very scarce and that you had to struggle hard for it. That is not a belief that is going to allow me to make an abundance of joyful money. So I had to work to redirect that belief into the belief that I wanted.
So, what are some of the devices or some of the techniques or some of the thinking that you did in order to alter the way you had been brought up to think, as opposed to thinking in a way that you felt would serve you the most in life?
I think the most valuable thing is writing down what you were taught. You know,
Uh,
make a list of money, make a list of relationships, make a list of health and wellness. What were you verbally taught or what was modeled in front of you
True.
between, conception and 8 years old? You will very clearly see why you're fighting yourself in the creation of what you want. Because our little kids within us that put together or were taught these erroneous belief systems are trying to keep us safe by limiting our power because that's what they were taught. So
And
the
that's how
more
everyone
you,
lived, pretty much. Back
well,
in
I'm sorry, what?
that's how almost everyone lived at some point because
You
of
bet.
the depression and the wars and so forth. So there was a lot of, let's say, deprivation. People had to pinch pennies and watch, how they utilize food and resources and so forth. So
Yeah, and those fears and those beliefs get passed down and
they
passed
do,
down and passed down to every generation,
they do,
which
yes.
is what they refer to as sins of the fathers.
It's true,
Or
it's true.
we also call it karma, you know?
Until we choose differently, huh?
Absolutely. And we're the only ones that can choose differently.
So what do you tell people? How can they go about if they finally recognizing that they're acting off old programming and that really is not making them happy? It isn't giving them what they'd like in life. How do you help people adopt another point of view and then come into that belief system?
Well, after E.T. came out and I was a big sensation and everybody knew my name and I was making a lot of money, I just wanted to get smaller and smaller and smaller. And I went, what the heck is going on? I'm getting everything I want. And I heard my grandmother say, they're the rich people. We're the good people, which
Yeah,
is a very standard religious teaching, societal teaching
I
also.
think you're right. Yes.
And I said, that's not a belief that I want. That was grandma's belief, and I love grandma. I love her for everything she gave me and for teaching me in this moment that I don't want to believe that limiting belief. So, what's the opposite of that? Everybody, everybody can make a lot of money with a very high consciousness and do a lot of good in the world because
That's right.
money has no power in itself. It's our consciousness and choice of what we do with our money that defines it.
I think you're right. I think it's interesting, especially with everything that's going on in our country, that people think they're going to take all the money and there won't be any left for us. And that's another very limiting belief, I think. I think that
Yeah.
there is no end. I mean, we'll go print more of it, or we do that anyway. So I mean, people ought to know that's just not true. It's not true, and
Well,
have
and to
power.
answer your question, bottom line, it's true if you believe it's true.
Well, yeah. And you'll find ways to
Well,
believe
but
it's true.
that's what I want people to get. It's that easy to shift it. It's just a belief. But that belief is a frequency that you
Yes.
send out into the universe, and the universe goes, oh, I'm supposed to match that, and it gets sent back to you. When, for example, I did a convention a couple of months ago, and there was someone there that kept saying, oh, it's going to be a horrible weekend. Not many tickets sold. We're not going to make any money. And every time I heard that negative, I said the positive opposite in my mind.
Mhm.
And I said, no, this is what I'm directing. And it's going to be a great weekend. We all make lots of money. We all have a lot of love going back and forth. That's the weekend I'm directing and creating. And do you know, I was the only one that made a lot of money at that convention.
Oh, yeah, my goodness.
But I mean, it's creation is easy, guys. God made the whole world in 7 days. How hard could it be? Right? But he knew he wanted a tree. He knew he wanted water and oceans and air. That's the first key of all creation is you have to know what you want. You have to know and love yourself enough to know that you deserve it and receive it.
Well, you came on the perfect day to tell me that. I do believe it. And number two, it never hurts to have it reinforced.
Absolutely.
And I was thinking, even in the story you were telling, what if everybody had decided to think like you? What might have happened? And what if this was the
Indeed.
other thought I was thinking the other day? What if we all thought about all of the good we could do and and the resources that we could attract ourselves instead of all the other things that we fill our minds up with. If we could just
Yeah.
focus, if we had hundreds of thousands of people focusing on doing good and being well and so forth, and and loving each other and so forth, I just wonder what that might look like.
Happy, happy love. I
Yeah.
mean, what if everybody in this country got up every morning and said, I am the United States of America who loves herself?
Uh, I think that's a good thing to put out there in the universe.
You bet.
Yes, I really do.
We love each other, we respect each other, we honor each other. We come together for the good of each other.
We do.
You see, it's an old practice to keep you in fear because if they can keep you in fear, you're out of creation.
It's true. It's
It,
true.
it's very true. And it's so easy to counteract that and create the positive. But you have to stay conscious to do that.
You do. I've been truly, truly working on a lot of that myself. And I've always been fascinated by manifestation. I mean, before it was like the thing to do. And I think a lot of people are. You talk to people all over the country, all over the world. What do you see? What do you see as like a trend or things that people really want to know about or things that they're now practicing maybe that are completely different than the way they were raised?
Well, I can tell you the one I would like to see more of. We are taught that we are not our own creators, that we have to depend on other people. I mean, there are even churches still that are saying you can't talk directly to God, you have to do it through us. Really?
When God has always talked to people. I was looking back to all the Bible stories that are all over YouTube and goodness knows where else. And all of them show the stories of people just like you and me hearing God talk to them. So how could that be true, right?
Look, God talks to me when a butterfly flies by. But my message is, on this plane, we are put here to practice free will. And when people start working with me, they'll go, well, I'm waiting for the guides or the angels to tell me what to do. And I say, then you will be waiting a very long time, because they are waiting for your choice and direction. We are put here to learn the power of free will. Nobody can think a thought for us. Nobody can feel a feeling for us. Nobody can hold a belief for us that we do not choose. That makes us the God of us.
Well, I'm one of those people who I'm right there with you. I really appreciate your point of view. And I particularly am so pleased that you have such a big voice and speak up and share that with other people. I think it takes someone like you to spread the good news.
I think it takes all of us. You can walk in to a Starbucks and smile at somebody and open the door for them.
Yes, that is true.
And
And
that's
people do
sharing
amazing
love.
things. It is.
Love is going out to the neighbor's kids and saying, hey, you guys want a cookie? How about a popsicle? It's passing a homeless person and stopping to acknowledge them, maybe give them something. I buy Starbucks gift cards
Oh,
to
nice.
hand out to all the homeless, because I know that they will choose to use it and go in to a place where they can eat somewhat healthy,
Right.
in a clean environment, and not take money that I would hand them and go buy a bottle, which I would not want because I grew up with an alcoholic. So I do everything I can to encourage people to lift themselves up by giving them the opportunity to do that.
Right. Making things that are good for them and their bodies available to them.
That,
Yeah, I agree.
and it's my moment, you see. I get to experience my moment of
Yes.
having so much that I can share it.
Well, God bless you. God bless all your work. And
Thank you.
I hope you'll come back again. We'll find some other equally inspiring and deep subjects that we can explore.
I'm sure we will, baby. And I'll be happy to come back.
I will love it. I will love it. It's really, really good to see you again. And I look forward to renewing our friendship and staying in
Thank you.
touch. Thanks, Dee.
Just everybody tune into IamDeeWallace.com if you want to look into more of this work.
That's really good. You've got a podcast. And
Yes, you can
and
call
tell us.
in free every Sunday morning, 9 a.m. Pacific time. All that information's on my website.
Wonderful. Okay, great. Well, thank you again. It's great to
All
see
right,
you.
baby. Everybody have a great day.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye-bye.